So move to read here, and this is going to be the instructions for how we are going to use this book. I do not know if we will go through the whole book, but we are definitely going to be using it to learn the process of scanning and scoping out what you are going to read. So you would have a piece of paper. Where is the paper? And your goal on this piece of paper, and this, we're using this book to practice skills and gain knowledge, but it will work with any book that you have. It can be a novel, it can be, a science article, it can be anything, and this system will work. So you write down words that you do not know. So do not know. Now I need an eraser. Here I can change it to don't instead of do not. That you don't know. Here, well, do not. I'll go back to that. Do not know. And then words that you have trouble sounding out. Okay, it's not like a speedy, fast, super duper, easy to sound out. So you would write down words that you have trouble with reading or sounding out. Okay, those are the two reasons you would do that. Some students like to take their paper and fold it in half. Okay, some students like to fold it in half. And they'll make two different columns, and they'll write don't know or can't sound out. Okay, now the thing with it, whether you use like dividing your paper in parts like this, where you have room to write the definition. This limits you because, if you didn't go down far enough and you have more words that you don't know what they mean, then, you're in trouble. On this one, you have to write the definition and you have to diagram. So if you did not leave enough space or the definition is super long, then you will not be able to fill it out all the way. So when you are looking for your words, make sure that you are leaving space. So the first time you go through your book, you are not going to be reading. The only thing you are going to be doing is looking for those two categories. So here I am at chapter 1. And I'm just scoping, and I'll call it either scoping or scanning or something like that. So you are scoping for words you don't know or words that you cannot read. So you're looking. Well, say if I'm a kid and I don't know what formless is, then I'm going to write it on my side that says I don't know what that word means. I can read it, but I really don't know what it means, so I'm going to have to look it up. Then let's say I couldn't read it and I didn't know what it meant. Go ahead and write it in both places. Okay, that way I will know that you had trouble sounding it out and you don't know what it means, which in reality, there are a lot of words that you may not know how to read it, and you do not know what it means. Well, then let's say I can read hovering, and I think I kind of know what it means, but not sure. So I'm still going to write hovering here. Now I'm leaving space so that I can write definitions or draw a picture of what the word means. Okay, and you just go down your pages like that until you have everything that you do not know written down on the page. For this week in reading, you are going to read this page. You're going to read this page. You're going to read page 3. And you are going to stop on page 4 right here. Right where it's talking about the tree of, where it says in the middle of the garden where the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You're going to stop right there on your first your scoping. Then you're going to look up the definitions and diagram words that you may not know. Then you are going to read it. That makes sense? Okay. Another thing I wanted to point out about this particular book is it does have a map in the very front, and it's of ancient Israel. So we will be using this map for different things that we're going to be reading about. So if we're reading about Babylon or whatever, we can see where they are. They're on the Euphrates River. That is important to know. Nineveh is on the Tigris River. Important to know because back in Bible times, they used the river to get from one end to the other for trading their merchandise. Okay. Then the next thing in this book, you're going to see the chapters. Okay? And this is the Bible, but what they've done different than the Bibles that you guys have had, they've rewritten it in more of a story. You don't see every sentence with a number next to it because there isn't. They don't do it like that. It is the Bible just like what you have that you use at church, but not every sentence is numbered. They're making it more like a continued story. Down here, you will see that first there's creation, then there's Noah and the flood, and then Abraham is born, and you turn the page and you go, oh, there's no timeline down here. Well, that's because this chapter 1 has to do with these 3 things. Another chapter, the very first page of the next chapter, it's going to have the timeline down here for that chapter. So it kind of gives you an idea how much is covered in the chapter. That makes sense? Now, if you get so into reading this, and Mrs. Patton has said you go to page 4 and you stop right here, but you're like, oh, I really need to know what happened. I really want to know what happened. If you feel like it and you want to read it and you want to read on, you can do that. That's not a problem. So just let me know, because in class, when you come back in class, we are going to talk about up to the point where I had you read. But say you went ahead and read 3 more pages. Okay, and you read all the way down to Abraham named his wife Eve. That's how far you read. Just let me know that you went that far, and it's okay if you do. Yeah?
You said Abraham instead of Adam.
Oh, thank you very much. You're right, I did. Thank you for the correction. Adam. Yes. I would hate to have Adam's job of naming absolutely everything in the whole wide world. That would be so daunting. Maybe that's how some of the animals got their weird names, like platypus. I don't know. Okay, so we are going to start this book. Like I said, most likely we will not read all the way through, but we're going to use this for a skill, and it's a great discussion. You will be discussing every week. You will be discussing words that you didn't know what they mean, words you couldn't sound out, and you're diagramming, and you are going to be discussing what you liked about it, what you found interesting about it. Have a great day.